know we cooking with grease now. We got Bobby Hemming in the house. Give it up again, brother. Stand up, Bobby Hemming. Stand up. Give it up, Bobby Hemming. We're going to have, as this series is starting again, we're going to have Bobby come and talk to us and see what he's been doing. You know, it's like the cobwebs are coming off of most of them. To find out what they've been really sitting on and what they know and what their analysis are for right now. I tell y'all that brother Bobby Hemming, brother Delbert Blair, brother Phil Valentine, the whole lot of them prophesize about where we are right now. That's why I'm not even surprised by nothing. I'm not afraid of nothing. I'm just like, everything is like as scheduled. It's on schedule. All you gotta do is go back to the archives and look at the tapes that you got or the DVDs you have of these brothers who predicted, who foresaw everything that's going on right now to the letter. I mean, how'd they do it? Because they are gifted as our archivists, as our griots to do it. So can we give it up for Brother Bobby Hemming and also Delbert Blair? So we are right on time, and we are now, as I call it, into what they call a cognitive restructuring of what we ought to do when we give them our marching orders and our action items of what we ought to be doing right now, and to remind us of what we have been not doing since they last spoke with you and gave you, the dynamics of where this world was heading and where we were heading as the world turns, as the globe revolves. So we know that we are in a perfect time. So I would always ask those speakers who are coming back not to repeat the things that they already said. This is not elementary class. This is something, an advanced class. This should be the advanced class, where now you're getting your next agenda for the dimension that we're now on, which they have predicted and foresaw and prophesied. So we don't want to come and just make a spectacle out of them by thinking that they just here, and it's cute. They're tired. I mean, they've been doing it so long. It's wearing on them. We have to be able to appreciate them as much as they come to get that which you didn't get the last time you was here, so you can archive that. And also take what they're giving you right now in these kind of settings. So let me go ahead and introduce Brother Blair, from his own bio, and you can also find out more about him, as I mentioned later on, at his website. Men called griots have preserved the history of many of Earth's people for centuries. These men are living archives of oral history, masters of eloquence, repositories of secrets. They are preservers of the customs, achievements, philosophies, and traditions of African, Asian, Arabian, European, and Caucasian societies. Dr. Delbert Blair is a historian, lecturer, engineer, poet, minister, researcher, educator, and metaphysician. He applies the oral tradition of the griots along with extensive and pragmatic speech and research. He is the founder, director, and chief consultant of the Metacenter located in Chicago, Illinois. It's cold as Chicago. It's cold as that is unlawful how cold it is in Chicago. It's like a razor blade the way Chicago is. Time to get out of those cities, man, with no life force, concrete. All the northern cities are going to hell. I got a trivia question that I continue. Where is the New World Trade Center? Raise your hand if you know where it's at. Let it hang. Where's the New World Trade Center at? Since the one in 2001 got blown out the sky. Where's that? Okay, let that hang a minute. Dr. Blair speaks comprehensively on over 100 different topics. Of course, he has hosted his own radio show and makes innumerable appearances on radio and TV talk shows. He is frequently invited to and spoken at hundreds of universities, colleges, churches, prisons, organizations, public-private associations, and family gatherings. His area of expertise are ancient history, Kemetic Moorish, Incaline and Killian, comparative religion, holistic health, safety engineering, herbistry, monotonic and nano-research, metaphysics, hypnosis, electronic diseases, magnets and diodes, mind investigative technologies, conspiracies, and UFO research. As a lecturer and presenter, Dr. Blair has drawn upon 45, count them, and it's probably more than that. But he's trying to keep himself looking like he's younger than he is, but he's been doing this since he's been gagging in, well, that's just me. But 45 years of extensive research and experience. His seminars, lectures, and workshops have gained a reputation for being practical, dynamic, educational, multicultural, thoroughly satisfying, and sprinkled with humor. Many have stated, and we readily agree, Our brother, to spend the evening with Brother Blair is to ride a light beam through the cosmos. The following is a list of some of Dr. Blair's most requested lectures and workshops: the Weather Wars, the Weather Wars, the Weather Wars, pay attention, the We and Her Wars, Victory Over Viruses, Goals of the New World Order. Dr. Blair is currently booking dates, so if you want to see him somewhere else, if you got an idea for him to go somewhere else, you can also say, okay, Brother Blair, I want to have you come to speak to this group over here. He's always open to do that. You can go to his website. His website is www.themetacenter.com. themetacenter.com. I want you to really, in your own sense of self, act like you know. Act like you appreciate that he has shown up and he is, again, continuing to teach us and reach us and even preach to us at this most trying time, in these times like these. Give it up for our brother, Dr. Delbert Blair.
I want to thank Brother Wanique Shabazz for always speaking, talking, and delivering messages, whether it's on WRFG or whether it's introducing me to people or speaking for himself. It's always a pleasure to hear him. I want to thank Brother Kevin Jackson for going out on a limb both financially and spiritually and physically, because the brother is really going through some changes, to have me down here. And as you know, Brother Kevin Jackson has given many of the meeting of the masters here. How many of you attended some of the former times when he was given meeting of the masters? How many came to some of them? Okay. He also had a bookstore, a black bookstore. How many used to buy his books, tapes, and so from there? Well, if you had bought enough, he would still be doing it. So I can only say thank you for at least showing up again, as once more he is coming back into the fold to try and help dispense information and knowledge at this time. I want to thank again Soul Vegetarian for letting us use again the banquet hall. People say, well, you rented it, what do you have to thank for? It's one thing to rent, it's another thing to feel that people want you and to feel comfortable where you are. And I've been made very comfortable here, and I'm very self to say, throughout the problems that have confronted me, it's because of people like you and a message that I feel I have to give that I continue to stay on this earth, and believe me, it is a battle to stay on this earth nowadays. And I want to thank you for taking the time out to come out tonight. I don't think you're going to feel unsatisfied. You might feel, again, hey, did I hear what I heard? What am I going to do about it? But at least let me tell you at the beginning, everything that I'm going to tell you, as far as I know, is true. It is fact. But don't ever come to me for truth. Come to me for facts, because the only time you ever find the truth is within yourself. So find yourself and your truth, but hear the facts as I want to begin to give them. And so right now, do me a big favor. Give me a hand for yourself for coming out. I want to start out kind of light with you in the sense that there's an old axiom. It says again that an oxymoron is something that everybody should either be or do. How many have ever heard the term oxymoron before? All right, good enough. Oxymoron, of course, is an ox that has gotten very big as a bull. And a moron, of course, is one who's lost his brain and his mind. So an oxymoron is one who loses their head over a little bull, a little oxy. That's what it is, right? Well, it's not what it is. Well, it's an oxymoron. You lose your head over a little bull, right? Really, an oxymoron are two words put together that mean the opposite, and you use them in connection. For instance, again, Iraqi freedom. A loving rapist. An honest politician. Ain't no such being. These are things that are actually oxymorons, and it's terrible to say, well, why you get down and start at the beginning of your presentation, Brother Blair, that you say that's an honest politician. Well, I know some honest politicians. Show me one. And then understand what the term of honesty really means, if you will. Okay? I did not make love to that woman, Monica Lewinsky. We just did it. Didn't make love to her, just did it. Somebody said that, a politician. Anybody ring a bell that might have said that? And what was that politician doing? Lying. But he's probably telling the truth. He didn't make love to her, he just did it with no love. Wasn't there at all. Pay for what you get. Anybody ever heard of Puerto Rico? Anybody not ever heard of Puerto Rico? Okay. It's the western gateway to the Caribbean, and it means, of course, rich gate, Puerto Rico, or rich door, or the gateway to riches, if you would. And you know, both he and Hillary are down there now, strumming up business, campaigning, knocking on doors, shaking hands, so on and so forth again. I just hope the people locked up their valuables while they're down there, and they better shake their hand, you better take the rings and watches when you finish. And you say, that's kind of rough, then you haven't seen this tape. It's called the Clinton Chronicles. Everybody ought to have it in their possession, pay the wallet twice, and then go to the toilet stool, get ready to vomit. They got the nerve to talk about anywhere. This is a man that got so despised of them that told you what happened in Mena, Arkansas. Told you what happened down there with the dope runners and the whole bit. And they got the nerve to talk about Obama. Anybody ought to run and hide. Just be glad that this is not a dictatorial place again. They wouldn't even be around. It's in that book, Clinton Chronicles. Everything you want to know about them. Now they're down there drumming up some more business. Well, so be it. And speaking too, again, that is really the gateway to the Virgin Islands, if you would. St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix, so on again like that. And of course, after the 15th and 16th century, there were very few of them left. But nevertheless, they put on the Big Mac Virgin Islands because this is where they used to be. Missed that one too. Wow, okay. What am I not doing right here again? What they have done to those islands is to not only take the virginity of them, but begin to mess up what was Creator's paradise. It's really a shame of what they're doing to some of them again. And if you notice the other side too, if you approach it from Miami or so, you go to what is called the Bermuda Triangle. And some call it the Devil's Triangle. However, now that's more or less what I call Bush, Cheney, and Ashcroft. Oh, no, what did he say? He didn't say that, did he? No. There's something wrong here I just said, right? Or is everything right I just said, you're just getting it? Okay. I hope you're going to get with me a little bit warmer tonight. Let's start out of here right. There is so much going on our planet now, it's almost impossible to know where to begin, so I'm going to take it in chronological order. There's a statement that says, everybody's talking about the weather, but nobody can do anything about it. That not only is a lie nowadays, the person that said that ought to be tarred and feathered because they were past due. Not only are they doing something about it, they're not only modifying it, they're making. They can make earthquakes, they can make tornadoes, they can make avalanches, they can make volcano eruptions, they can make snow, rain, heat, drought, floods. Yes, and they are not God, they're not the Lord, they are scientists who are trying to act like they are the creator, and on this planet they've done a daggone good bad job. I just told you 10 things that they can do with the weather, and you're probably saying the Lord is down on us, God doesn't help. It's not God nor the Lord. It's messed up people's minds who are messing with the planet and finding the planet is about to strike back. We'll get to that near the end of all of this. Okay? When you feel you have no peers and that you are a God, then you better know how a God walks, talks, thinks, And if you think you're the creator, you've got to be a blankety blank food. Well, many of them are past blankety blank foods. They're blankety blank foods. They go where angels and me and everybody else fear to tread, but they run up in there, and then they wonder now what's happening. Tell you what's happening. Wow, where do you begin? First of all, our planet has what is called an electromagnetic field. EMF. Say that again. Electromagnetic field. EMF. Say it for me. EMF. See, once you say it, then you know it. Notice many of the ministers now. They'll get up there and they'll say something and they'll say, repeat after me. And you say, well, why am I repeating after you? I already heard you. That's part of what is called mind control and hypnosis. You have a right brain. You have a left brain. The left brain is your logical brain. It analyzes, thinks, tells you yes and no. The right brain believes anything that it hears in your own voice, own meter, own tone, or if you tell it so. It does not doubt, it does not rationalize, it believes it and acts accordingly. So when you repeat something, you now have told your right brain that it is now part of you. You can never forget it, because when you think you forgot it, somebody else can pull it out if they know where they helped you to bury it. This is why be careful what you say, be careful what you think, and understand, and I will repeat this twice, any gathering of people nowadays in a closed room, cathedral, hall, church, multiplex, rock concert, symphony, football field, soccer field, anything that is enclosed, you can be mind controlled. Impregnated with a thought and hypnotized on the spot, and anyone can go within a half an hour. Most times it takes anywhere from 3 to 8 minutes. How do they do that? Because when you focus on a central figure, like you're focusing on me now, and this room does not have it, I've checked, so it's all right. When you focus on a central figure, whether it be a preacher, a teacher, a singer, a dancer, a movie, it doesn't matter. Your left brain is now occupied, your right brain is now not occupied, and they have something that used to be called a neurophone. It's now called a hyper-index mental transmitter, which comes down to something that can hypnotize you. And once that is around the dome or ceiling, near the ceiling of a room, and it has no speaker, you don't send those words out into the air, but no speaker gets it. The speaker is you in your head. And it can tell you when you're focused on whoever you're focused on. If it's a church, tithe like mad. Give me more money and come back, and you can't leave me alone. And you will do all of that, especially if it's done 3 times. If somebody else is trying to sell you some records or tapes, buy those tapes. And they'll even play the tape in the air without a speaker, and you'll hear it. Buy those tapes, buy that CD, buy that whole volume of discs. How do you think that the Beatles got as popular as they were? They weren't that good, they got better as they went. But that was the first mind control experiment sent over from England in the Beatles record. And on the jacket, it told you in what they call medallions, again in modular ways, what it was on that jacket, and only a few people could see it. Those are the ones they knew were psychic. They either arrested them or they took them in, because it meant they were ahead of their time. They sold so much because they used mind control experiments from England right over here, and they still are. At our present time, this month, supposedly in the next week, in CERN, Switzerland, they started up what is called a particle accelerator. That particle accelerator at CERN is larger and better than the one they have in Brookhaven right here in the United States, which at this time was the largest world's particle accelerator. It's called sometimes a cyclotron or a particle accelerator. When you have a particle accelerator, you accelerate one particle of matter, one atom of matter, whatever you want to call it, to a certain height, and then you crash it either into a substance like water or lead or into another particle, which they call then an atom smasher. They're about to put one online, and 10 days ago, let's say 10 and a half, because nobody actually pinned it down because they lied about it. They had what they call a quick startup of that, a test run. Interesting, that's when you had your cyclone that hit where? I can't hear you. Where did it hit? Now, there is no relationship that they started that thing up 2 hours before the cyclone hit Myanmar, right? It's just that all over the internet, which can lie, or which can tell you the truth, depending. They make reference that, isn't that a coincidence? Isn't that luck, bad luck? I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in accidents. I believe that there are trajectories and consciousnesses, and if you get in the flow, that's where you will go. And the point is, again, isn't that just interesting that that's what they did, and then that's what's happened. As I ask you to say EMF, I want you to now say ELF. ELF. It's an easy way to remember, because ELF spells what? Elf. It is elves, not elves, that are possibly killing you. And we see these movies about the trolls and the gremlins and all these vampires and stuff, and these bad elves. Well, the trolls and the gremlins and all these vampires and stuff and the bad elves are coming through the wavelengths in the form of extra low frequencies. Elves. There's where your problem is. We got a lot of problems here. That's a big problem. Extra low frequencies. Spent some time around in some of the suburbs the last couple of days, and I looked and took a few pictures, but not as many as I should have, of some of the towers you have around you. You've got 2 350-foot Gwyn towers right here in your one city. You don't need 2 of them. You at one time had only 350 across the United States. You got 2. You're privileged. You're super privileged. I feel for you. Fortunately, we've done some research and we have answers for some of them. And when you get those towers, you have created a problem. So don't get angry at me now when I tell you what I have and later on how much it costs. Get angry at the people that put it up there in the first place. Now, when you see those towers, you automatically think, now they're there so I can use my, I don't even know if I have one. What do you call this? What's this? You recognize it. You've seen it in the movies, huh? You saw it in the stores on the shelf? You have one? If I dial something, somebody can hear me back there? You got one of these? Let me see yours. Can I see yours? I want to see if yours is like mine. You know how little children know when they're growing up, they want to see if theirs look alike or theirs doesn't look alike? Come on, you pull out a cell phone, see if you got one. See if yours looks like my cell phone. Anybody got one that's black and round like mine? You got different colors? Yeah. Now, I'm going to turn mine around, and how many have one of those things stuck on the back of the one you got? Huh? Raise your hand if you got one of these little dots stuck on the back of the one like I have. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now you can put it down. Now raise your hand if you have one of these, you don't have one of these little dots on it. Come on, I said, come on, you are all right, now you're being honest with me. I sure hope before I leave tonight you buy me out, because this is called a diode. This is not the smallest diode we make, but it's the one most compatible for those things that you just pulled up. Why do I have one on mine? Well, I had 3 on mine, but it wouldn't work. So I have 2 on mine, and it still didn't work. So I have 1 on mine because that's the only thing I can still use this daggone contraption and feel safe with, and otherwise the signal stops. What this is, and people have asked me like mad, it's a mixture of magnets, crystals, and a catalytic agency that is poured liquid and hardens, and that's where the patent is, because nobody's been able to aptly duplicate it. And I'm going to tell you why, because it's a gift from space people. Now you've heard it. That's why all the rest of you tried to steal it and tried to join them with Bioport, and all the rest of them couldn't work, because this is a gift from space people to try to help you at a time when you need it the most. And on the literature it says, a gift from the future for a struggling humanity now. You thought it was a lie. I don't lie. But sometimes my truths are so way out, you can't believe them. Now I dropped it on you. There's a company, and the person that started that company was gifted and taken to an area of our planet where you have this material. It had to be refined and now put into a liquid state so it can go on anything else you want. It is an answer for one of your problems. Now, it's not just an answer for just this device. It's an answer for 10 other things, because there are 11 different kinds of diodes. All of them work against extra low frequencies. That is your harmful thing, extra low frequencies. All right? If you doubt that, back in 1961, I was contacted by two brothers. It's on my tape. And I didn't tell you all they said to me. I just told you that I want to go up to be like them. That's what changed my whole life. Because they could read my mind so cleanly I didn't even know. They projected the future by 18 minutes and 25 minutes. They made me lose some time and go into space, and then they came over my house with 3 UFOs. So once that was done, I knew I wanted to go up and be like Mike. And nothing else, anybody else could offer me that even appealed to me. When they showed me it could be done, and they were black, I said, I want to go up to be that kind of a black man. The only trouble was they weren't harping on being black. They said it was only a body they used for a utensil at the time to need it. It was what was in the soul that was counting, and I said, okay, talk to me, brother. But it stayed with me because they could do what I'm just beginning to be able to do after this age, and I still can't do everything they did, but I want to, and I hope I'm worthy of it one day. Back to the diodes. This is called an appliance diode. This was the diode I just showed you when it still was encased. The appliance diode goes on the back of anything that plugs into a wall, and where the wire disappears into the chassis of the thing, that's where you put your diode, not at the wall outlet. The back of wherever the wire is coming out, television set, microwave oven, computer, modem, scanner, hairdryer, any of those things where the wire comes out of that thing, that's where you put it. And it changes the frequency. How many of you have used a computer recently? How many use a computer almost daily? In fact, it becomes a way of life because you go on the internet, right? How many have one of these things on? Why don't you have one on? You are intelligent enough to use a computer. Wish I could use it well. You're intelligent enough to use the internet, but do you know that the radiation from the monitor, the chief component of that set that you use, which leads into modems all the way down the line and scanners and printers, that chief component is radiating your eyes? You see, I have to because I had worn glasses. They told me I was going to be blind when I was 9. I'm past 9, I'm still not blind, but I wear glasses, and I'm very happy about that. The whole point is, again, that this stops those frequencies from coming into your eyes, your head, and as you sit before it, if you're a female, your breasts are constantly exposed to it, your thyroid is exposed to it, your heart is exposed to it, and your thymus gland is exposed to it. In case you didn't know, your thymus gland and your heart are what keeps you young and alive. So you're aging yourself every time it radiates the thymus gland. That's your gland of youth. A woman has 3 lobes on her thyroid gland, so it's not this iodine she needs. One of those glands begins to swell up the more radiation she has, and that poisons the thyroid, which can cause all kind of mitigated growth and cellular interaction of mitigating growth. That's all you're doing when you use it. That's just the start. Your pineal gland, which radiates between your eyes, is now getting radiated as you look at it each day. Then you wonder why you can't sleep, you get stressed out, and start going to premenopause without even going through any kind of a, well, what do you want to call it? A removal of any of the female organs. But they don't tell you that. This one little device here stops that. Just that simple. Why don't you have one on yours? Because nobody told you this before, or else you thought to have one, I don't need to spend another 30 bucks or whatever it's going to cost, because I already got all I need. Well, according to what you think your life of youthfulness, femininity is worth. We go with another one. I see many adults walking through the streets. They're so very intelligent, especially the really, really good adults, and men too. They let me know how intelligent they are because they have a Bluetooth stuck in their ear, and they have one that even lights up. At night you can see it. I'm crazy, I'm nuts, I'm insane, I don't know what I'm doing. Look at me, I ain't got a Bluetooth. I am protected from radiation because the Bluetooth is my God. Because the people who made the God told me that this is what I need. The Bluetooth, folks, fits in your ear, and if you want to test this out, just simply do this. Get in your car, go by any tower, or go by any broadcasting unit or what, have it on, and when you hear the static, you're ready. If you can hear it, it can seek you. If you are in a car and you're using a cell phone, or you got this Bluetooth on so that you can lay the actual cell phone in your lap, or on a stand on your windshield, or on the seat nearby, you're crazy. No, I should never say you're crazy. I'm crazy because I see what you're doing and you know you're okay and I don't think you're okay and I got worries because I like you. If you're in a car and you have on your AM or FM radio and you've got your cell phone in there or anything else again, pass by another car and listen to what comes over your radio. Listen to what may even come into your ear. That means carrier waves are transmitting into your brain, and that means radiation. If you're in a car, and most of the time we get in the cars to drive somewhere. I know sometimes we get in the car to remember how we used to drive before the gas prices went up. But we're still in that car. And we still have intent. We had a map away because we got to see how far we can go in a gallon of gas, do what we got to do and get back home before the gas runs out. So now you plan your way. So you're sitting in that car. But then you make that fatal mistake. You actually turn on that motor so your car will go. Wow. Now when you turn on the motor, your alternator kicks in. When the alternator kicks in, you've got a field strip around that motor which goes to the firewall of your car or to your computer which kicks in, and then another terrible thing happens. Your car starts moving. And when the wheels turn, there is no ground. The only thing that grounds out is anything that's vegetable or biological in that car, which happens to be, in most cases I think, you. Your biological unit of consciousness is what they tell me. And if you are a biological unit of consciousness, you're now getting radiated. But let's take it even further. We're not only driving, we're driving to some point. That's why we got in the car in the first place. And so we pass under towers, we pass by other towers, and as I say, turn on your FM, I think even AM nowadays, but definitely with your FM again, and then listen to all the static, and each time you hear static, remember that's more radiation. In addition to which, by the new safety standards, solid weld devices are the only thing you can use inside your car for side impact and airbags, so it's solid welded, so the seat you're sitting on is welded to the chassis of the frame of the car, and the radiation is going up into your sex organ. Because you're sitting on a solid weld, what they now call Faraday cage. Cage which has energy around it that can be transmitted from and to the brain or surround the body's own electrical field. Definition. Now when that happens now, you're getting radiated all over your body, and radiation always seeks your weakest link. Anything that happens to your body, it is the weakest cell that is attacked first because it has very little, if any, defense. The electrical field around the cell is deteriorated. Then that's where it's going to go. So whatever is wrong, it's going to get worse. Many women now have chlamydia, polyps, cervical cancers, and everything else. Many guys now that are young are going through prostate trouble. You know I told the truth, but they come to me all the time. Not that I am a medical doctor. I am not a medical doctor. I never said I was a medical doctor. I'm a PhD, and I'm a reverend. But I studied with Dr. Elvina Fulton for 19 years. Dick Gregory and I both. Thank you. Dick Gregory and I both studied with her for 19 years. That's where he got his information. She taught him everything he knows in general about that, and taught me too. The woman was and is a genius, because wherever she is, I know she's alive. Right? Well, I had the best teacher, but I got no degree from it, but I worked for her. Well, I'm not even going to go there again. Anyway, she led me on the right path. I know Dr. Sebi and all this stuff. That was my genius, Dr. Fulton. So it gave me a little insight, and I practiced what she preached, and it worked, and it's still working for me. I won't tell you my age, but I'm still traveling around, still talking, still breathing. Some people wish they wouldn't, but I'm glad I do. And so consequently, it's still going on. So why did I skip to that? Because when you begin to now find that not only is the car and the computer and the cell phone a challenge for you, we're just beginning. I wonder if any women use any hair dryers in here. Men use any hair dryers in here? Anybody ever eat any microwave food, especially when you came here rushing to see me? You had to hurry up, put that in the microwave, didn't you? You're going home tonight, put it in another microwave, aren't you? I hope not. I hope not. You go out and you buy groceries, some canned goods, some other things, and you go and you prepare them and you eat them, fire them up, take all the energy out of them and eat them. What did he say? No, wait. What did he say? Take all the energy out of them and eat them? Well, no life force, what are you eating? Ask people at Thanksgiving, when they get through eating, it eats them up. They get through eating, go lay down over there and go to sleep. Somebody else go over there and gets high to get the alcohol to take some of the food away because they can't eat it. It's not what you eat, it's what gives you life force. If it has no life force, it's taking your life force to process it. Get a diode plaque. Now, I was going to demonstrate a diode plaque to you, and the person talked me out of it where I was staying because they needed it desperately, and I wasn't going to do it, and the creator said, I have voices that talk to me, they tell me when to do something and not. Give her the diode plaque. I said, I am not going to. They said, give her the diode plaque. I said, I'm not going to. He said, remember what happened before I gave her the diode plaque? Yes, I did. I said, there's your diode plaque. You diode woman, there's your diode plaque. But the whole point is that the diode plaque will remove poisons and toxins and radiation from whatever you put on its surface, especially if it's food, because it's made, it looks almost like a dartboard or something, and it's got the smooth area of the, let's just say, the poured solution on the back. It will remove 38 frequencies of oscillating energy from any item you put upon it. Oscillating energy means anything that spins to the left under a electron microscope. That's usually bad. Usually things that spin to the right, centrifugal, centrifugal, are usually good. It changes the molecular structure by I'm going to get real technical. It changes it to where it's good for you by simply putting it on there for 15 minutes. Some things, I have two on a cutting block. Sometimes they stay on there all night if it's non-perishable. All of you have a diode plaque that you put all your food on, don't you? And this ain't church, so you can lie. Yo, this is okay. All of you have a diode plaque. All you have a diode plaque, raise your hand. That's what I thought. At least you're not lying to me. Well, you're not going to leave here with one tonight, but you can go to the website and order it tomorrow, 4 days later, to be at your home. Okay? Because what I didn't bring a bunch of stuff, I have a huge website. My sons have set it up. Anything you want, go up on the website. It's a pretty website and it's growing. How many have been up to my website, by the way? Is it a nice one? Is it loaded? It's going to get even better because I'm going to start putting my voice on there after the next month. At any rate, that is your fourth diode. There's another diode. It's called a diode plaque. I'm sorry, diode pad. Don't have one of those either. We're going to use that as a security thing. People got mad about it, so I had to give it back. It's about this, like this, and it's no bigger than right here. The diode pad you sit on, what that does, that helps protect the sciatic nerve, your buttocks, and the base of your spine from radiation. When you're sitting before that computer, when you're riding in that car that I told you was killing you, or possibly hurting you, You sit on that and it puts an insulation between your sex organ and your spine and the seat. Between your thyroid gland, your thymus, and your heart. These are the kind of things you can use for air travel, from bus travel. If you have a car, if you're in a rig, an 18-wheeler, or a taxi, you should all be sitting on dial pads to protect your precious future, your past, and your sanity. I notice when guys can no longer have sex, they got a little messed up, and so do women. But at least you'll have the capability, then, as you're going to hear when I talk about the end of this, the 5 things you should not do, you still better be selective. But at least you'll be able to. And without getting a PSA test, how many? No, don't even tell me. But for those of you fortunate enough to have taken a PSA test, positive test, to see the antigen and the protein there to see if you might have possible cancer, everybody in here has cancer. You got a cell in your body that is cancerous anytime you've eaten any kind of meat, or taken any hormone shots or anything else. You got cancer. The point is, are your cells strong enough with their own stabilized electromagnetic field to stay doing what they're supposed to do in spite of all of that? That takes what is called immune system and Mr. Willpower. What's another thing that we have? Now we're getting to the really good parts again. We have now what is called a diomid. Now I definitely could not bring that through the airport, but up on the website you'll see a picture of a diomid. The diomid sits about, say this is from the floor that you're on, about 2 feet up from there. It's shaped like a double hexagon. It's got a pyramid up and a pyramid down with little soldering things again. In other words, the lines of force, if you understand pyramid power, are already welded in, so you don't have to already do north or do south or east or anything else. It all will work. And it amplifies 35 times because the dial base amplifies that signal. That will protect 60 yards in all directions. The 60 yards in all directions will not protect inside your house, but it will protect the surrounding area around your house. The girders, the chimney with reinforced metal, anything that you have that's metal in there which can conduct and stay radioactive, it will ground that out and nullify it. It's called a diomid, 60 yards in all directions. It helps a little bit to fight some of these towers that you see up there. But some of these towers you see up there, they're mighty powerful. We then have what is called a diode mattress. Usually people sleep on mattresses. And this one, you're not only sleep, you might even astral project. Simply meaning, they're not frighten you away now. Let me explain what it does. It will pull, it will transmute 38 frequencies of oscillating energy from your body. It will not send it to the liver, will not send it to the lymph system, will not send it to the spleen, will not send it to the fat cells. It will remove toxins and poisons and radiation from your body as you lie upon it. I think that's a pretty wonderful device. Pretty expensive, but how expensive are the medical doctors, sicknesses, poisons, and cancer? And what is expense based on the devaluation of the dollar anymore? You better get some things while you can that can stay with you when the dollar can't. Won't. Wilt. Is that word? Wilt? That's not wilt, no. Any of these devices, and we used to have what was called a diode necklace. Rose quartz and venturine green. I bought up the last 50 and I'm still selling them, but I raised the price on them like everybody else, because now you can't get them. And I'd rather have them around me to give to someone or use myself and give them away. Why did they stop it? Because they don't want you to have a lot of crystals nowadays. Especially crystals that can do something. Some of you are crystallograpers and so on like that. We have a couple that actually go down to New Mexico and Arizona and dig them. We have mine down there, some of our members. And even they now are asking you, how much are you putting out of your own mind? How many? And I don't mean M-I-N-E. Or do I mean M-I-N-E? What's it, M-I-N-D or M-I-N-E? Mine is mine, or mine is yours, or mine is mine. Or mine is yours, mine. What do I have? I love to play with you, but you gotta laugh through all of this, because otherwise you might not want me back again, and that would really hurt me. What happens here is that crystals are six-pointed, they have a brain, and they can do things after you program them when you're not around to let them do it. And if you understand that, you're a magician, or a one-step of magician. Bobby over there, he's a magician, I just play around with him. And what happens again is, if you don't watch what you're doing, you get in trouble with those things. And if you do watch what you're doing, they will work for you. But there are people who know what they can do, think you might wake up as to what they can do, and feel you should not have them. Why is it right for one consciousness to have something that is beneficial or unbeneficial, and another consciousness not allowed to have it? To me, that's not fair. But a lot of things on this planet, right into now, are not fair. I just ran through you 11 different kind of diodes. I skipped over a couple, but those are the main diodes that we have, okay? And, did I bring one up here? No, I didn't run through one. This is a slim pocket diode. This fits into your pocket, like a piece of chip of wood. And you put it this side out, and the inside next to your body. This will set up a field of energy around your body to stop extra low frequencies from getting into you. It will stop some of that from transmuting into you. You put one on your left, one on your right, you have general protection around your body. Okay? And I think hold on a second. This is the one for the Bluetooth, for you Bluetoothers. And at the Las Vegas convention this summer, the electronics convention, they introduced the BlackBerry and the Blackjack. Now, they made it worse. The BlackBerry and the Blackjack are 3 times more powerful than the Bluetooth. But you can still use the Bluetooth on a BlackBerry, Blackjack, or Bluetooth. It's so small, you can hardly see it. That's why cost so much, because they had to concentrate it to get it on that little thing before you stuck it over your ear and over your frontal lobe, and no, I'm sorry, your occipital lobes, your side lobes. What do you have up there? Well, whatever's working for you, you better put one on quickly, or none of it's going to. Okay? You get me, now you with me, you understand? I like to make jokes when I talk. I think that I find humor in most of these things, otherwise I'd have long since crossed over. Madness out here, man. So much for the diodes. I will say that we also, thanks to another beautiful sister by the name of Suzar, and Suzar, of course, Dr. Epps, who I've known for some time, has left also devices and ways to get what they call orgone energy generators. We used to ship them through the mail. We can no longer ship them through the mail, and I can't afford the loss of trying to ship them through the mail. Pyramid-shaped, round disc, and understand that nature, or what I like to call my God, I don't have too many gods, but I am wonderfully on my knees in humbleness to the Creator, and I have no lords. I am a Lord. I'm trying to be a God. I'll never be the Creator, but I got something to shoot for. Anybody that you have to go through to get to your Creator is using you. Right, left, frontal, forward, side, whatever way it goes. You're being used. You don't need it. But you think you need it, you must have it, you will get it. Huh? Out here in our wonderful, beautiful planet that has enough love for every creature on her, can nurture and sustain every creature that comes in a soul form to this planet. They are messing over your Mother Earth, Lady Gia, like mad. The indigenous people understood this a long time ago, and if you have indigenous blood or an indigenous person, you should have known this a long time ago, and it still is. She's reaching out for you. She's hollering for you. She's helping you. And ask you to help her back in return. Instead, we don't seem to realize there is no gas shortage. There is no petroleum shortage. It is not from fossil fuel. All the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park didn't go die in one place and rot. It has nothing to do with fossil fuel. It has to do with the fluid that lubricates your planet. And she reproduces it all the time because you stick her and reproduce it and take it away and do nothing with it but give it back to her as fossil remains and carbon. It's an abundance. You can't stop that. The planet would fall apart. One of the reasons now for the tech-type plates doing what they're doing is because the lubrication has been taken away. And it's now dry and brittle, except in the oceans and the fluids of our Earth. They know good and well there is no shortage on gas. The only reason that you're paying $4 and something for a gas is because over in London and Scotland they're paying $7.50 and $8.50 and they want to bring you into their territory. Greedy, evil, don't have enough additives. Range too limited. It ain't worth it. They're lying to you. 15 cents and 45 cents is what they're paying for a gallon of gas in Venezuela as you speak. But Hugo Chavez, he ain't no good. But George Bush, he's wonderful. Vote for him to make sure in the fall now. Make sure you go down and vote that man in again. If you ever did. Well, you are with me. That's good. I'm glad you're thinking. The earth does not want the step-down transformer effect to exist any longer. Step down is from organic, original, orgasm, first cause. Next is magnetic fields. 3 stages of that, north, south, and null point, which you're now calling DOE, 0 point, null point. And then you get electricity, and then the lowest point of electricity is what? What's the name? What am I searching for? What is it? Extra low frequency. We're working on the lowest scale this whole solar system can take. This galaxy doesn't even want to work on that. And that's what you plug in every day. And what have they promised you as of June 1st, which is by the date, wait, to when? Tomorrow? Is it tomorrow? Tomorrow?
New boxes.
Tomorrow. Oh, boy, okay. What happens then? All 252 major cities will go Wi-Fi. You have not seen road rage. You have not seen gang warfare. You have not seen mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and children fighting each other and dogs biting people and running up trees and ants. Hear my prophecy coming into major cities. You haven't seen catastrophe yet. When they turn all those blank things on at one time in 252 major cities, you have not seen hell. And you're waiting to go around the little brown box. They'll even help. They'll let you pay for it on time. Whose time? They shorten your time every time you put one into your home. You would pay for your own annihilation, to go insane. They have digital parameters on these big screen TVs. Each one lights up to the unit of an X-ray. They're going to multiply that by 100 billion. I don't even know how many times to get that. And then take, now you can see things more enhanced. Everything but what you want to be enhanced. This is madness. And you are about to participate in, and worse, pay for that opportunity. Buy time, overtime, get a contract signed with them. We'll let you pay forever because you're only going to live for another year. Pay for as long as you want. Insanity. People are crazy. What is wrong with our teachers, our preachers, our seekers, our doers? Has everybody lost their mind but me? I want to go crazy too. I won't be out there as crazy as you all are. If this is the case, I'm telling you facts, folks. never tell you the truth. I tell you facts. Find your own truth. But here are the facts when you're seeking that truth. We have presently 8 major wars going on, and you only know of about 3. We have the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Fleet over in the Persian Gulf, and even brought the Nimitz. That daggone aircraft carrier should have been retired long ago, so you know they're ready to sacrifice it. They bring it all across there. And your president gave the orders, I understand, vicariously, last November, for Admiral Michael Phelan to attack. And Michael Phelan refused. King would run over there, oh baby, you don't do it for him, you better do it for me. Well, he refused again. Think about this. You have 3 major fleets. A fleet, and I never went to West Point, or what's this other one again, where they have the Navy, Annapolis. I never went to any of them. Too dumb for that. But I'm smart enough to understand basic parameters, basic things that they do. When you have an aircraft carrier, you got 2 atomic submarines at least, you got a cruiser, you got a support missile carrier, you got a troop ship, you do with crack marines and stuff like this. But the thing you never see are those 2 atomic submarines. Missile firing capability, atomic warheads, which means each one of them could knock out 4 or 5 continents if you launched all their atomic missiles and warheads, especially when they have scattered warhead fragments once they explode in the air and rain down. That is an attack group like you have never seen, and they have 7 of them for the 7 oceans of our planet. But why would they bring 2? The Eisenhower, the Nimitz, this other again, and this other one they had 2. They got it. It broke down suddenly. Now they got to also get it repaired. Russia sold the Tyre missile to Iran years ago and put it in the installments. He sold 200 of them that this government knows about, which means they ring that entire area there, and they're capable of Mach 3, that's 3 times the speed of sound, 750 miles an hour times 3, 22,200 miles an hour, and they stay 55 feet off, and they can skim. That means as soon as they fire them, no matter what they do, you lost your aircraft carriers. And you now have an armed act of war. At least some people here are beginning to detach themselves from the devil in whatever form he or she may lie, and begin to use the resonance of consciousness and spirituality that the planet is begging you to reach, because you're messing not with fire, but with planetary fire. They tell you also that if you don't hurry up and do this thing quickly, those terrible Islamic people over there, all of them, just mass crazy people, they'll come and blow your city up. They'll come and do everything to your city. It's just awful what they'll do. It is awful what was done at 9/11 and you bought it. That was really awful. Because most of you still don't understand it. Get some of our tapes. Get the tapes by the people who ran it down in plain sight. Freedom from democracy or something like that. And they killed Rousseau recently, you know, they get him in too, after he told off what was really happening. We're at a very, very, very dangerous, precarious time. Our planet has put up a magnetic field. Our planet loves magnetism. It used to have magnetism until the moon was steered into orbit. And then the magnetic field was interrupted and disrupted. And that was what was called original sin, because the name of that vessel was called sin. Our planet's magnetic field is now being perturbated by what is called an electromagnetic field. And that electromagnetic field puts out energy and radiation to a degree that it is very bad for the planet and very bad for you. We now have a restrictive collar around our planet. We're quarantined. They're talking about they're going to Mars. They may. They've already been there 5 times. You got a settlement up there. Talking about they're going back to the moon. They may have been after the first aliens took them there, and they're on the other side of the moon in something called the crater Catastrophes. But they're not going to be allowed to come out of the solar system. No one leaves the solar system without permission. Do what you want to the planets within your range, but you don't bring this kind of mess out into the solar system. We have a second sun now. How many even heard or think we have a second sun? How many, thank you, how many know that that is preposterous because I haven't seen it and it ain't there? Let me see your hands. Come on, let me see your hands. You don't want to believe it. Well, all right, whatever. Well, we have a second sun. I have some pictures of it, but I'll show you near the end of this again. Our second sun is an invisible sun. It didn't start out that way. About 2 years ago, and that's about 28 months ago when it came around here, it was kind of visible. But now it's gotten to such a magnetic frequency you can't see it. I'll tell you how you can see it though, and I'll give this out for free because you took the time to come out, and so thank you so much. If you will look at the setting sun, on the Bible it's about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, about that azimuth reading in the air, wherever it's setting. They say it's supposed to set in the west, so I guess you guys have east and west still in Atlanta, right? You still have east and west? I don't know, you guys got some of the other things we don't have. You laughed at that, so do that. Don't you do that. You had Atlanta child murders and all, don't ever forget that either. Yeah, anyway, if you take it when it's about like that, and then you see, you take your camera, so, you know, you told me you had these, all of you held them up, and I'm sure most of those are so more expensive than mine, so you probably got cameras in yours. If you do, you take it over there and you take a picture of that sun, just focus on it, and try to get it midway so that it's about on the top of your camera lenses, and snap it. And then look at what you got. You see the second sun. It's invisible, but it can be seen by most cameras, and especially by cell phones. And you can tell it because it always has a dot in the middle of the second one. And it's bigger, the parameter, the halo, the aurora, the corona is larger. That's magnetic energy. Our planet cried out, our planet got help. And if that one sun, or that new source of energy is enough, Creator might send 50. We might have 50 suns before it's over with. It never has taken this for one solar system before. We usually have binaries, and that's about it. That energy is being absorbed by the soul of Earth. Here we go again. You know good and well when you go down there long, it's molten lava, it's volcanoes down there, nothing can live inside that Earth. It's just a hot plasma quantum, another lie. All the ancients told you about the hollow Earth. Admiral Byrd spent billions of bucks. Went 240,000 miles again to the North Pole. I think it's 1,800 to the South Pole. Talked about the land of the midnight sun. Talked about how he went there and saw great beasts walking in tundra and so on and so forth. That's why there are no airlines that fly over the poles, period. They have circumpolar flights. They know good and well the Earth is hollow. They know good and well people live down there and things live down there and everything else is down there and the soul of Earth is down there in a round orb because all of you have round orbs if you have souls. That's what your soul looks like. That's when you see these little lights around when people die and stuff, that's your soul coming out of your body because you're not the body, you're a soul. And soul means solar and Saul and Solomon and all the rest of the sun people that used to have a good son until the bad daughters came around bringing their little mates. Huh? What did he say again? The daughters of sun made the planet of Earth, and they were fair, and they chose of them who they would, and they were born mighty men and giants in the earth. Boy, all that kind of crazy rhetoric. Insanity. Nobody believes that. That's why we've got so many races here. So many heights and dwarfs and pygmies. And on Lake Victoria, pygmies on one side and Watusis on the other, and the Himalayas talking about the gods came down and created them. And so Israel bombed Lake Victoria. about 12 years ago, that's all. When you begin to get this magnetic energy being sent back out from inside the earth, it comes out through the poles and begins to go around the earth cell, I shouldn't say that, the earth planet herself. And as it goes around there, anything electrical has a hard time working, existing, and staying alive. Because if you take a magnet and you walk behind your TV set, or your computer, or anything else that is electrical, you won't have a computer, a TV set, and anything that's electrical. A strong enough Gauss of a magnetic field wipes out anything electric. And so now the satellites are failing. You're going to get blackouts. You're going to get satellites falling out of the sky. You won't have the Navy shooting down again. Something was filled with formaldehyde. That's the lie. I'm sorry, that's what they told you happened. You had to shoot that bad thing down because the formaldehyde might get you if you don't watch out. You believe that too, didn't you? And they hit it square on and didn't fragmentize or nothing. Just came down, boom, thud, gone. Well, get ready for a lot of boom, thud, gones because a lot of the satellites now work by electricity and they're failing. Get ready for blackouts and brownouts. Now, they just gave you another one. You know, I say one thing, if you never know what to do or what to believe, listen to what they say is truth, and then you know what not to do. These fragmented things, and the reason why they had Earth Day, when everybody around the world was supposed to dim the lights a little bit to save on electricity and to save on fuel, to show what it could be like. And it was just to show if we could only as Earthlings do this better, we'd have less electrical expenditures, our planet would be better off for it, and so we had Earth Day. But they're going to have Earth Day every week pretty soon. Might have it 2 days a week. Trying so when there's dim outs and brownouts come, you know, we had 2 blackouts on your cell phone. That happened about a month and a half ago. Remember that? All the cell phones started working up there across the nation. They had a brownout before that time. They had a big storm that came out of Niagara Falls when there was no storm. I remember things. How many of you remember those kind of things? Well, that was all a lie. As our magnetic field by which the earth has created is beginning to act upon our own electrical field, electrical things will cease to work correctly and then finally fail entirely. Get ready for that. Get ready for that. One thing you notice after about the 3rd day of that, you see a glow where there is not supposed any Mazdas. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the old term. Electrical lamps. Wattage, that's what it's called now, wattage. After William Watts, not after you were called Mazda. But at any rate, those things will not have to work. You'll start seeing energy in the air. You start seeing a glow in the air. You start seeing a glow in deep tunnels and mines because the true light of Earth is magnetic and you don't have to burn electricity to have light. You use a magnetic vortex that the Earth is in and it already takes care of itself. The Creator didn't make any dummies. Oh, I'm sorry. We are here, are we? The Creator didn't mean to make any dummies. Some scientists did pretty good though. We still think we gotta burn fossil fuel from all those dinosaurs that died in one spot, send them through pipelines when you're living in a sea of energy, which Wilhelm Reich proved, Nikola Tesla proved, and if you believe in your Bible, Moses used all the time. And if you understand what is called the scepter and the ankh, where the primitives, these indigenous crazy people that didn't know anything about it because they didn't even have electricity, had better things in electricity. They didn't have to kill animals and worship animals to get the power. There is no planet made that is not made without its own power unit. If these people are smart enough to know that a planet must have some light, what's wrong with the Creator who knew that the planet had to have some life? You think that they're smarter than your Creator? There are no planets that don't have their own power source, so they would not be planets. We have a vortex of energy just out there waiting to just pull it in, and anytime anybody pulls it in, they either wind up dead, bought off, or scared to death, and you don't get to use the intention that they had to do it. The Ankh and the scepter this is an Ankh. I usually wear it, but I didn't need it today in this energy-laden place because I know you guys are going to bring me all the energy I need. This is an Ankh. It would be out like this. The scepter would be your staff, or your walking stick, or Moses' rod, or Aaron's rod, or whatever you want to use. Okay? You put the scepter in the ground, you put the Ankh here and made sure that you hold the round part, and then you generated your energy through thought. Because you are nothing but a walking profile of the Creator and the planet, able to conduct, induce, and deduce energy anytime you want it. Now you have capacitors, rectifiers, and generators to do what you can do anyway. And it's out there free. It pulls down. It strikes as lightning when it gets too much. It used to be before they made false lightning, what they call scattered radar technology, scalar weaponry. You pull that in, you got your energy. Put it on top of your house, it pulls it down. If you have a lightning rod up there now and you don't stop it, this lightning will strike your house. That's because there's so much energy built up there, you're not using it, just dispenses itself. But we got to use it. Petroleum, the hyaluronic fluid of Earth, that's the only way we can stay supple. You can stay supine or something, eating 4 times a day maybe. Madness. As this field of energy grows, people who have a pineal gland that's active will grow in spirituality. A pineal gland is where melanin is secreted from, and it goes around to all of your body of people that are melanated. The pineal gland, when it begins to use this kind of energy, is your own built-in crystal that the Creator made, and because the pineal gland secretes a substance that cannot be destroyed called melanin, you now have a race for life with people who covet melanin and who covet a soul and have neither. Now let me explain what I'm saying when I say that. The pineal gland is up in what they call the hypothalamus, the Turkish saddle. It's like a ridge type thing. The pituitary gland is on top, it hangs beneath the limb, there's a pineal gland, and it's constantly radiating. It's a crystal up there radiating. During the daytime, when you go bareheaded, you're exposed to the energy from that sun that goes into the pineal. And it re-radiates itself at night between usually the hours of 10 and 2, unless you're on daylight saving time, international daylight, and every other thing that they made to get this planet all separated in culture, consciousness, and causation. When you have that there, you're now going to sleep soundly. Your soul is now activated. It can astral project if it wants to at night, or you can use all that energy and become a super person. Because during the day, you took in the energy, it stored it up at the pineal gland, and it re-radiated it back to you at night as you slept. And it produces serotonin to let you sleep very soundly and calmly while you're on that little trip. A natural trip. You owe no drugstore or pharmaceutical index or any gang member for it. You can do it for yourself. Isn't that nice? Aboriginals, you. No, I won't call you that. You're indigenous people. Remember, Aboriginal means to abhor the original. You knew that, right? To abhor the original. Why is the original abhorred? Because it was the first usage of creative energy, organic energy, organism, organic, and the people that were rightly supposed to be on the planet before the Great War took place and the reptiles came. So you're not Aboriginal, you're indigenous, planetary, and then by all the names this planet has, we just use whichever one's in vogue at this time. A lot of people out in space got another name for it too. And they say, we sure don't want to go there, but whatever. Another substance that we use is called, well, magnetism. On our website, you will find 36 different kinds of magnets, but they're not pictured. There's a reason for that. They're listed. I'm not a complete nut, I'm just a little bit nutty. But we list them and we show you how they can use. We have magnetic mattresses, magnetic wristbands, bracelets, magnetic back supports, headbands, anywhere you have joint pain, knees, everything else, we got magnets that will fit on that. And we even have flex magnets, which have the power of a solid magnet, but are flexible. So if you need more magnetism in a spot, tie it on, put it in the belt, put it in the panties, put it in anything you want, but use it, and you can begin to get energy. Now, the magnets all have two poles. People say, which is the north? All magnets have two poles that are natural, a north and a south, and a null, boy. There are really three kinds of magnetism. North, south, and null. The point between the two fixed points that is called the null. North pole usually is the best pole to use, and especially if the Gauss of the magnet is strong. Gauss means distance of effect between two unlike poles. The Gauss is the strength of that magnet, and the magnetic field is what sets up the Gauss. Now, what can it do? Everything. You have a lot of pain in your joints, put the north pole of a magnet down there and leave it there. You got a pain in your back, you got a crushed vertebra and all like that, and I hope you don't. At least some of the pain can be eliminated, and the stimulation will help the body, if you do it in time, to regrow the disc that you smashed, or anything else, as long as you don't use a drug with it. Heard what I'm saying it slowly. Since you also have a magnet up here in your head, which is part of the pituitary gland, and part of the pineal gland is magnetism, just like, again, crystals and magnets are in your head, and your blood has iron in it. That is your red hemoglobin, oxygen carrying capacity blood. It has hemoglobin. Where oxygen is transported, things heal. Now put a magnet on that site, and the blood will rush to that site, and if you have enough vitamins, minerals, enzymes, and everything else, and electrolytes in that blood, it will heal itself, especially the faster you start the healing. I watched the NBA playoffs. I like sports. I escaped to that for a while, then I get tired of the foolishness. But while I'm there, I watch people getting injured, men and women, boys and girls. And what do? You got a sprained ankle? They run over there and put an ice bag on it. Then they run over there and put a heat pack on it. Then they went over there and put heat and ice on it. Then they went over there to pray that this athlete that I'm paying for, God, does not make me lose more money so my team won't win, and I can travel and get mortgages to buy more homes that they can pay me for. Like, huh? Huh? No. When you put a strong North Pole Gauss magnet, and the Gauss is the strength of a magnet, over the ankle or the break, there will be no swelling. Swelling is your white blood leukocytes carrying all the little things, the mitochondria and the new stem cells and all the rest of the stuff down there to try and heal and to stop infection from happening. A germ cannot live in a strong magnetic field. There's no infection, there's no swelling. You immediately start to heal. Just that simple. Why do they have flex magnet put around these guys' ankles? Because they're back in the olden days making new day money. And that is their vessel of achievement. That athlete out there. But they're dumb. Or they're just ignorant. Or they just don't care. And these guys don't know it. You don't use cold and ice anymore. You use a strong magnet. And you put it on until the tolerance point is reached. And when it goes numb, the healing is already done. You got a break, takes 8 weeks to heal, it takes 4 weeks. A sprain takes 3 weeks to heal, 1.5 weeks. You want to regrow new tissue, put the tissue into your body, put a magnet on there, it will go because like begets like. It's called synergism. Digress on you a little bit. Professor Smith down there in Kentucky, we talked for about 15 years ago, time flies, he wrote a white paper. I got to see the registry in the library, University of Chicago, and I read some of his papers and said, this man's a genius. Why isn't he published? So bold as I am, I'm bold when it comes to that. I'm not bold with English, but people intelligent, I want to be around them, I want to learn. I wrote him, I phoned him, I didn't think he'd ever contact me. About 10 days later, he contacted me, he said, you this guy Blair? I said, I'm this guy Blair. He went to talk. He said, well, that's an old white paper. He said, I don't only prove that, I prove that the rings on a tree are like the wings and whirl of your finger, and that everything has a blueprint. It has a DNA, a ribonucleic acid, and a nucleic structure by which you can rebuild anything if you know the dynamics and wavelength of it. So he proved it 5 times. He was regrowing limbs on people, not prosthetic in the sense you're talking about. Regrowing limbs on trees, everything else again. That's why trees can grow back, but you can't. That's why what they call it, chameleons can do what you can't, and you're supposed to be intelligent. All where we see in nature shows how dumb we are because we've been miseducated. And the practice of the medicine they're doing now ought to be thrown out of the window and buried. Or better still, as this guy once said, well, no, he started that about lawyers. No, we can't talk. We can't talk lawyers. You gotta stop me. I'll go up for it. I have to laugh because this is something, you know, how do you correct the wrong that nothing is right in? Think about that. How do you correct the wrong that nothing is right in? That's like going from the North Pole to the South Pole without walking. I mean, we're walking. So when you use the magnet correctly, the iron in your blood is drawn to the magnetic field, and your own stem cells, you don't have to use fetal stem cells, you don't have to kill any babies and take their bone marrow. You have your own bone marrow, which can produce all the stem cells you want if you eat correctly, use these daggone pharmaceuticals alone, get the drugs out of your system, and beside praying, get out there in the day sometime and work and let this come into you and then circulate your body. It will start producing its own stem cells, and there are things you can take that are natural herbs that will promote stem cell growth in your own bone marrow, plus the fact you heal faster. And now you gotta let them worry about, do I go and get a fetus? And is the fetus original at the first month of trimester? Or do I use that? And then you have all the evangelists. I shouldn't talk about you evangelists. That's okay, you should evangelize, but evangelize that you know, not that you think. Evangelize truth and not fiction, because you're limited, don't limit everybody else. Cure yourself first, then cure everybody else. When you begin to see how complete the unit of consciousness you jumped into, supposed to be bringing consciousness to it, is you have to go outside yourself for nothing. You go outside yourself for contentment, for understanding and progress. But everything you have, you're born with, and if not, it's because you shorted it out in another lifetime, and that's another whole story. That short circuiting, some of us got that kind of karma. But understand again, when you understand karma, there's also dharma. So don't have to teach one without the other. Karma, absolute action results exactly on what you did. A light begets light, an eye begets an eye. Dharma, once you wake up to it, you don't have to go through it one more time, because there's no need to go through it on the physical plane if you already understand it on the mental plane, because the unseen always controls the seen.